Interesting. It's one of the stories I was going to talk about anyway, but there's a bit more of an angle to it coming out. So, just looking at transfers is Rodrygo, who obviously we've spoken about a number of times. This Edu Burgos, who I know for a fact, by the way, that Ben Jacobs has said before that this guy is pretty reliable when it comes to South America. But he said that Arsenal is one of the clubs that has shown the most interest in Rodrygo. The Gunners are monitoring his situation heading into the summer. Informal contacts, nothing firm yet. And I don't know if you saw the story this morning about Rodrygo and Marca that he refused to come off the bench, apparently.
Wow.
Yeah, Marca said Rodrygo reportedly refused to play in the Clasico on the weekend, would like to leave Real Madrid. He feels he's in the shadow of Bellingham and Mbappe, feels he's not been valued by the club and is upset by the situation. I mean, we talk about market opportunity. And big up Matt Southern Gooner. He just made a great point. He was talking about Burkamp and being that game changer. I don't think in the whole time Arteta's been at the club, we have signed a player that has made me go like, wow, we are going to the next level. The closest one I could say was Declan Rice. Brought a lot of excitement because of the fee. He'd been so good in the Prem. We got him ahead of Man City. But to me, I'm looking Aubameyang, Sanchez, maybe Mesut Ozil. They're the last signings where I was like, you've signed an absolute game changer there. I'm not saying Rodrygo is that, but I think he could potentially be a brilliant left winger for Arsenal.
How much is he going to be, though?
Well, initially it said they would want around 100 million euros, which was 84 million pound. But
Do
surely,
it.
if he's pushing for the move, you
Do
can
it.
maybe even get him cheaper.
Bruv, let me tell you this. I have been flipping and flopping and flipping and flopping about the left backs that I want at Arsenal. Whether it's
Yeah,
Lookman, whether it's Semenyo, whether it's Cunha, who I still think is more of an attacking midfielder. Whether people have mentioned to me Mbuemo, I think is more on the right. Mitoma. People have spoken about Nico Williams, Jamie Gittins. This is the guy. The reason
this
I've
is the
never
one.
mentioned him is because I didn't think he was available. That's the only reason I did not mention him. I wanted
Yeah,
Kvaratskhelia. Once he went to PSG, become unavailable. After that, I thought they were all at a similar level. This guy isn't. This guy is clearly. Now, I know he plays on the right for Real Madrid, but he can play left as well. I think he's actually scored quite a few goals from the left-hand side as well. If you look at his highlights and some of his goals this season he scored, they've come from the left-hand side. If he's 100 million euros, even if he was 100 million pounds, you take
yeah,
him. He's a
all
brilliant
day.
age. He's an international. He's quality on the ball, fantastic flair. This would be the best Mikel Arteta signing for intent for kind of, wow, that's the ambition. This would be the most ambitious signing if we got him across the line. I think he'd be phenomenal. Now, I don't know why Real Madrid would want to sell him. Having said that, and to caveat that, Alonso's walking in the door. Ancelotti's going. He's going to
Yeah,
want to have some fun with some money. You know what Real Madrid are like. They ain't really too happy in giving people money. They want to sign everyone on freeze. So I think they're going to want to make one casualty. They're not going to sell
yeah.
Vinny. They're not going to sell Mbappe. Looks like this could be the guy. And I remember speaking to Turkish saying, if we don't get an Isak or Kvaratskhelia at the time, this was a while back, I want Wirtz or Rodrygo. They're one of the two impact ambition signings I want. Wirtz is going to go by Munich, so it has to be this guy for me. And like you say, when's the Ozil or the Alexis Sanchez of Wenger's era, or even Aubameyang is going to walk through the door? Maybe it's this
Mm.
summer, and this would be a phenomenal signing, mate. Absolutely phenomenal signing.
I'm telling you now, if there is any glimmer of this guy leaving, and there's a lot of stories saying he will, they have got to be all over this because this left wing market at the moment is a mess. It's an absolute mess. 2 or 3 years ago, left wing market was amazing because Son and Rashford and all these guys around Europe were performing at a high level in the Prem and around the world. I think this guy is brilliant. And what people have to understand, he's a natural left winger. He's not a right winger. Madrid put him on the right because Vinny was on the left and they rate Vinny higher. He's not playing in his natural position. Not many right-footed right wingers score a lot of goals nowadays because usually you play on the opposite wing so you can cut inside and score, because I know his numbers are not that high at Madrid. But I think this guy is some player. He dribbles well. He can shoot. He's skillful. He's fast. I just think him and Saka on the wing.
Car.
And you put a proper strike. You get Gyökeres. Gyökeres and him. They're saying Gyökeres 65 million is the
Mate,
release
that's
clause.
what 150 million for the pair of them. Let's get it done.
150 million for Rodrygo and Gyökeres. That's
I'd
when I'm
rather
sitting
take
there
that, man. I'd rather take that than Isak. Real talk. And I love Isak. He's
all day
number
long.
one. I'd take these two over Isak. That is a phenomenal start. If we Zubimendi in, yeah, 150 on these two. That's just 200 million. We've instantly improved 3 positions in our first 11. Like, that's what we've done.
Yeah.
That's what we need to do, man.
Yeah. They're the levels you need. Imagine that, Rodrygo, Gyökeres, and Saka. Because all
That's
teams
what we
do
want.
now, they just say double up on Saka. They ain't got nothing else. Marino, yeah, unless he gets a big chance. And Martinelli, I mean, he's inconsistent. If you got Rodrygo, Saka, listen, I'm not saying we're going to get him because I think a lot of other clubs would go for him as well. You know, I could see maybe Liverpool, maybe Chelsea, maybe Man City. You look at City, Grealish and Doku haven't done anything really on the left. So, you know, they could do that. Yeah, I just see the message. No worries, bro. So, yeah, listen, this would be a phenomenal signing. And you just hope, you know, that Berta is in Madrid. He'll know about Real Madrid. Just listen, these are levels we got to be looking to. Like you said, we're being linked with Semenyo and players. I don't want no Semenyo, bro. Semenyo's a bench player to me. You bring Semenyo, it's just squad depth. I don't want him starting for Arsenal. So this would be a great signing, man.
I agree. And if there's a chance, we have to get it done. And what would annoy me is if he ends up going elsewhere.
Yeah.
A bit like Kvaratskhelia, because we could have got him. Don't do this again. Don't let Kvaratskhelia and Rodrygo both go elsewhere when you need a left winger. When everyone's screaming we need a left winger. Like, it would be... This would really annoy me now if we ended up with Nico Williams instead of Kvaratskhelia or Rodrygo, because I've seen enough of that Nico Williams, mate. I'm sorry. I've not been impressed every time I've watched him. Or with Rodrygo, you know what you're getting. And with Kvaratskhelia. Or Kvaras, everyone says Kvaratskhelia is the reason that they're through and we're not. Well, Rodrygo, let's be real, I know he was particularly poor when we played them. If he's unhappy, he's got to come. It would be an incredible signing. Incredible.
Yeah, he's a top player, man. 24 years of it. Nah. Listen, he's 24. Nico Williams is 22. There's no way on earth I would take Nico Williams over him. He's so much better than him technically on the ball, so much more game intelligence, so much experience as well from what he's done. I just think he's levels above him. Ned said in 2022, Arsenal passed on the opportunity to sign Kvaratskhelia, opting for Marquinhos amid. I saw that story yesterday. I couldn't believe. I didn't know how true it was. This was before he went to Napoli, apparently. But yeah,
that better not be true. I'll tell you that now.
Remember, Edu cancelled the Jude Bellingham deal from Birmingham City as well. You know, he said 15 million was too much for him. Alberto said we have a good relationship with Madrid. Well, what you sort of do, and no one's going to want to hear this, what I'm going to say, but what you do is you say, look, you look after us with Rodrygo. If worst case scenario in 2 years, Saliba's not happy, or we'll make it a little bit easier for you. You know, if Saliba's gonna go, maybe we reduce the price. That's how business works, isn't it? You give us Rodrygo for 65 million. If Saliba's not happy in a year, we'll give you a bit of a discount on him. That's how you've got to work with these clubs.
Yeah, I agree.
Even though people won't want to hear that.